Diablo, we're on PR time today. Can you believe this, folks? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Mr. A. Welcome to the set. And tonight we have a very special guest, as usual, a Miss Lourdes Mondesi Santiago. Miss Lourdes is the founder of the Borinqueneers Motorcycle Club. I thought this was very important to bring her on the show because, first of all, when you talk about biker clubs, you don't necessarily think female. Not only female created, but female led and so on. So tonight I thought it was very important that we profile this woman on both plateaus. Being a woman and starting an MC, and being a woman and paying tribute to the Borinqueneers that is from our patria, la isla de nosotros. And if you don't know who they are, that's even more of a reason why we're going to have her on tonight. And I want everybody to make sure that they not only pay attention, but go after the show when you have some time, remember the name and look it up and understand who these men were. So that is a huge part of the reason why that we're having her on tonight. Good evening to everybody in the room. Miss Millie Mill, the big sis. Godding, I see you. And my beautiful princess. I'm not even going to say your name because you know you're my princess and I love you very much. Daddy's always going to love you. And don't you ever forget it. And don't you ever let nobody tell you different. You hear me? So, good evening to everybody. I'm hoping that this show is going to be informative. I hope that everybody's going to walk away feeling some sort of connection to the guest. I hope you garner information and understand that, you know, in this day and age, people are stepping out. And we should applaud that. We should applaud those things. And I feel that recognition for what this woman has done is needed. And we need to feel orgullo all the time and don't let nobody else tell us differently, right? We've done many things throughout history and they're unaccounted for. And I know there's a lot of people that, you know, if you say Borinqueneers, it goes right over their head. If you name people throughout history that have done great things from our island, who were doing things for our people, you know, nobody's going to know about it, or they hardly know about it. And the viejos and the jibaros of our island, you know, in 2020, they've been silenced and pushed aside to trade for materialism, for this American way of life. And the one thing you should understand right now in this moment of COVID is just that. If we were to get back to the way our great grandparents lived and our grandparents lived, they lived off the land. It wasn't about materialism. You know, they worked, they broke their backs. Because if they didn't work the land, they need. You know, one of my favorite internet comedians, Major Hype, said, "No work, no chicken, not jerk." And it's just the truth. And these are the people that we come from. And I'm not just talking about abuelo and abuela. I'm talking about even further back than that. Our people weren't lazy, uneducated savages who only knew how to have babies. I mean, we love having babies, don't we? And education was tough for us at a point in time. And if we needed to be, we became savages in defense of our island, but not in the way, in a historical context, how we were portrayed by the U.S. government when they captured us from Spain. So I think overall, that's my point. I think people need to get back to remembering, learning, and passing these things down to their children so that we can retain our pride in who we are and what we have contributed throughout history. And unless you go looking for it, you ain't going to know it. They're not going to teach it in school. They're not going to tell you about it. Our history is an elective, and it only comes later on in college. So shout out to all my people from Hunter College who have gone there and dove into the largest library in New York City when it comes to Latino studies. I salute all of you, and all the brothers and sisters who have made it their business to make sure that they retain that history and taught it to their children. And I want to shout out a very special friend of mine who, me saying all these things, she's the one that instantly pops into my head because she brought me back to this back in the 90s. And her name is Melinda Diaz Proeve. She was born and raised in the South Bronx, in the most treacherous parts of the South Bronx. And through that all, she persevered. She led an amazing life, went on to college, and went on to get her master's degree. And she's an educator now, and she helps children. And specifically, she helps children from low and poor and low income areas. So, Ms. Diaz Proeve, if you're ever watching the show, I just want to salute and commend you for all the work that you have done and all the work that you continue to do. And you bring me back to my roots in the time that we shared in the 90s. I definitely want to salute you for real. Mr. Stone, my big brother, the OG, I see you, brother. Good evening. Glad you're here, and I'm glad you're always repping for us, man. Always got to recognize that. So tonight, again, we're going to be having our guest, Miss Lourdes Mondesi Santiago, the founder of the Borinqueneers Motorcycle Club. I see my brother is finally deciding to show up. I don't know what's going on with him. Miss Santiago's getting her makeup on and trying to get her angle straight. And I don't want to do her dirty like that. So I'm being patient and letting her get herself together because I want her to be her 100% self and have a good time and share this information with everybody. I seem like my co-host, I don't know, his camera must have gone out or something. It's like every week something new happens, but it's all good because when we get it going, the show's amazing. If you guys are following, look at the calendar of events on the set Facebook page because I really don't want to put the whole calendar out because then, it doesn't build up the, if you get it too quick, it's not the same. If I give you little by little, it's like, oh man, what's next? So just, follow the calendar and, just stay with us, man, because we're growing, we're moving. We have a lot of great content, coming up in the next few. It's just going to be nonstop, one after the other. So, if you love us and support us, keep doing it. We love y'all. We appreciate everybody. We have, suspense, Scotty. Salute to my man out of Arizona, Mr. Diaz. I see you. We have a lot of great content coming. The webpage is going up. I know there's a few people that I owe hoodies to. Listen, we got a solid vendor. We have some real new stuff coming. Just sit tight, hold tight. I got you. When it all goes up, I can't wait to see the reaction on everybody with what we have coming to the show. So, you know what? All right. Miss Mondesi is looking almost ready. You have to position your camera in a way that you're not holding it. A plantarlo. Si no, busca al hombre y dile que. Oh, perfect. There you go. There you go. You just got to position yourself so I can see your whole face. All right. And what's up with Sazon? Woo. My man's camera is yellow. How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, I'm going to promote something to you guys. The big game is coming up in February, right? Well, guess what? Here at the set, we are going to have the virtual, and I can't say, I'm going to call it the big game. We're going to have the virtual big game party. We're going to have squares. Ladies, we're going to have a makeup raffle. And I'm not talking about Kmart makeup. I'm talking about real makeup. We're going to have a makeup raffle. Miss Reyes, I see you. Good evening. We're gonna have music. We're gonna have guest DJ or DJs. It's gonna be a whole show. So I'm hoping we're gonna have surprise guests too. There's gonna be a bunch of people coming on, making cameos. Like, you gotta come and watch it, man. It's gonna be a movie. We're gonna have a good time. Selly's running his squares. I'm gonna be running the women's makeup raffle. Well, my wife really is gonna run it, but whatever. I'm not gonna tell you, Cotting, but yeah, along those lines. There you go. It's gonna be a good time. So, come and join us, and I'll be hitting you guys with the flyer really soon. You'll be able to see what's what and who's gonna be coming. But I'm telling you, it's gonna be a movie. It's gonna be a good time. So, there goes my man. I think he's ready. Is he ready? Yo, can you guys start start a chant in the chat and tell this guy to let's go? Cause I want to start this. I want to talk to this woman and get it going. Mr. Torres, I see you. Good evening. Godding, I believe it's February 7th. That's the date, the Sunday of the big game. Sasson, all right, I see him. He got the thumbs. Hold up. Let me bring my guy into the room and then we could get it all squared away. We good? We good? We good?
Mi cumpleaños, papá. Mi cumpleaños.
Oh, wait, hold on. Y'all ready? Yo, everybody.
A king was born today, guys.
Everybody, let's go. It's my partner's birthday. And today he turns 28.
Oh, yeah.
28 years old, young.
Like that.
And we want to wish him a happy birthday. Man, we've celebrated many birthdays together, huh, brother?
Yes, sir.
Wow. 28, right?
28, something like that. 28 squared.
Yo, salute to you, brother. Happy birthday.
Appreciate you.
I'm glad
Thank you, everybody, man, for sure.
I'm glad we could share another year. It's been a lot of years. We saw the hair change colors and we saw the losing of the hair, right? Wow. Kids.
Yes, sir.
Everything. It's crazy. It really is. But happy birthday, man.
Thank you, man. And thank you, everyone that reached out to me today. I try to hit back everybody via text or Facebook, however you hit me. If I missed you, I'm sorry. It's not, not being malicious. Just, got a little busy, and I'll try to get back at everybody, man. I really am thankful for the love.
This guy's getting too big now. You see, he don't want to talk to everybody. You see how he's doing us?
Go that way.
I know you from where? Oh man, it's good to have you on, brother. I was telling the audience that we have an amazing guest, Miss Lourdes Mondesi Santiago. I got to keep adding the accent to pronounce her name. I'm really excited about this conversation. A lot of things, man. We lost another one. I gotta, man. Come on.
El gallo.
There's only one, baby. There's only one. And it's sad that happened, man. A great man, and amazing music that transcended years. But man, what a loss. Real loss. Oh, my man, Big P is in the room. Mr. Paul Lopez. Salute to you, brother.
Paulie.
Big Paul. Man. So, El Domingo hoy, no?
Yeah, man.
What's up? Give me the rundown. Yo, put the people on to what's going on with the sports real quick, brother.
The Jets, baby. The Jets. They won again. I don't know if that's good, but they won again.
They're out of contention for that pick?
They actually lost it today. That's it. Jacksonville clinched it.
They did?
Yeah. So it's a wrap.
So who's left? What are we looking at?
Giants lost today, but I think if Washington was losing, so I think they're still alive, all those guys for that division next week.
Okay. Washington, They don't have a name yet still?
Nah, they're not doing it this year. I think next year.
The Washington football team?
Yep, Washington football team.
That's fucking retarded, man.
WFT. Or if you look at the record, WTF.
Yeah, for real. Salute to Mr. Samuel Torres. We see you, brother.
Big Sam.
Big
Hope
Sam.
you're feeling better, brother.
Yeah, man.
Hope
Hope
episode earlier.
And
tonight, go pack, go, baby. Go pack,
pack.
go. He says.
How's we looking? How we
We're
looking?
good. Win tonight, we clinch #1 seed.
Home field?
Oh yeah. Frozen tundra, baby.
They don't want that. They don't want that shit, right? Please don't go there to play.
Today's a big game. We got to make a statement.
Well, is your boy throwing or is he sitting?
Nah, he's playing.
Oh, that's
MVP. MVP.
That, I feel like and maybe everybody in the room will agree, whoever watches football, I feel like Aaron Rodgers doesn't get his due. He just, I don't know. I don't know if it's me. I think he doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Longevity, record, team leader, like he does it all. And, he gets drowned out by other quarterbacks that don't deserve the accolades. I think he needs more recognition.
If Aaron Rodgers was hurt or didn't play, they'd be the Jets. They wouldn't be any good.
Why can't they be like the Browns? Why?
Sorry. Browns are good now.
Now. After how many years? Like the Browns. They'd be the Browns. That's what they would be. All right, cool. Stop dissing the Jets. And New York team too, bro. I don't say nothing about the Knicks. I keep it quiet.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, now you don't want to talk about it, right? Before we start the show, I just wanted to remind everybody, our friends over at Rothenberg Law Firm LLP, injury lawyers. Hey, listen, you guys are having any sort of accidents or, on work, on the sidewalk, car accident, whatever, you need to give our people over at Rothenberg Law Firm LLP. That's injurylawyer.com. You need to give them a call. Their number is 866-241-8248. They have offices in New York, Philly, 3 in New Jersey, and they do it all. Personal injury, medical malpractice, construction. If mommy's freaking, patella machine falls and cuts you, they got you. Just give them a call.
Se habla español.
Se habla español también, no joda. All right, man. So, all right, I guess we're ready to start the show.
Yes, let's do it.
Y'all ready to start the show? I think we're ready to start the show. Let's go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Mr. A.
Sally Song in the building.
Welcome to the set. Tonight, we have the founder of the Borinqueneers Motorcycle Club, Miss Lourdes Mondesi Santiago. I know you guys aren't used to hearing me speak with an accent, but I have to, I have to be right. I can't, water it down. Lourdes Mondesi Santiago, like I can't do that. Gotta pay respect.
Sally Saison.
Sunday murder your name, dude. We gotta give him a class.
If that song ever comes after me, I'm gonna be like, no, it's Saison.
It's Saison. I Saison all the time, brother.
All the time.
You don't know about that? All right, let's see if she's ready. We're gonna bring her into the room. Miss Santiago is, man, there's so much history. A tremendous life has been lived, and it's come to this point, sort of like an apex moment for her. The motorcycle club has been around for a while, but we're going to learn about all the work that went into bringing it to fruition and all the things that she went through. And we're also going to learn about her earlier life and, before she became the leader of this club. So I'm going to welcome to the show Ms. Lourdes Mondesi Santiago, whose camera angle is, there she goes.
Hey, welcome, gentlemen. Merry Christmas.
How you doing? Merry Christmas.
Yes. Feliz Navidad.
Turn that off. Or mute it. Yeah, just mute it. She's doing like a radio show. Like, I want to hear myself.
Well, I wanted him to hear it because he can't hear what I'm saying. So.
Oh well, listen. He's in the room. If he wants to join you at any point, he could sit next to you.
Put him in the bathroom.
Put him in.
Get him out of here.
Put him in the bathroom.
Oh my God. So listen. I just want to say before we start, thank you so much for giving us your time. I know that you and I have been speaking for some time about getting you on the show. I understand you were a little gun shy, and that's totally fine. But I respect the fact that you finally, you got back to me, and Sally will tell you we don't chase anybody. It's one and done.
Mm-hmm.
I really felt that it was important to have you on the show to tell the story, not only the MC, because I want people to get to know you so that they connect with you as a person, right?
Thank you.
Yes. So it's very important that we delve into the beginnings and where Miss Santiago started, where she was born, and everything in between, and then we can get to the MC and how it came.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
How long is this show?
Lay down on the couch.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute.
He's turned into a psychiatric.
Yeah, it's a moment. Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna put a shingle out in a minute.
Yeah, we don't charge by the hour though, so that's good. We're working pro bono, right? Pro bono work. Mira, so let's tell the audience where you were born, first and foremost, because I was a little confused about that.
Okay. I was originally born in New York, on Manhattan, on 13th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue.
Oh, LES girl.
Yes, I'm an LES girl, and I was raised there. And 13th Street with all my family. I actually had both sets of my grandparents. That's where my mom and dad met at a birthday party that neither one of them wanted to go to, but they were dragged to, and they met there. And my grandparents actually had the same apartment on 13th Street. The building was 245. And we just recently had to let it go after 50-something years of having that apartment in our name, in the Mondesi name. So,
could you imagine what the rent was like, what they were paying?
Oh, they were paying, we have old records. They were paying nothing. I believe my grandfather at one time would say that the rent was like $10 a month. And then because the apartment was rent control, the family was actually paying only $121 or $124.
Rent stabilized.
Yeah.
Why did they make you guys give it up?
They wanted somebody. My uncle, who was actually living there, had passed away. So the family tried to keep it so that somebody, if we ever went to New York, that was my grandmother's wish and my grandparents' wish, that if anybody ever came to New York, they had a place to go, because as we all started getting older, we all moved away. Some of us joined the military. Some people moved to other states. So that was the hub, was 13th Street. And literally, my grandparents lived on one side of the street and we lived across the street. And my uncle had a store there, deli market. Mm-hmm. And literally the family, my cousins, friends, everybody that I knew, that's where,
So when he passed, there was no one on the lease.
Exactly. And so their fair market rate is $3,500.
Jeez. Yo, can I just say that's a real Puerto Rican story? Like,
yeah.
the way your parents met, they met at a birthday party that
they met at a birthday party that they both came home from work. They were both tired. My mom's sister wanted her to go, and she said, ponte algo, just for 5 minutes. And mommy was like, I know. So, and same thing with my dad. My dad just, this is before he joined the military. He worked as a butcher. Down on Ludlow and Stanton, I think it is. Ludlow and Stanton, yeah. So my dad worked there, and my dad got dressed. Of course, they went, and my dad was just telling me the story over the last couple of days. We went to visit him, and he was saying that he walked in and he saw this green-eyed vixen sitting across the way, and he saw her. They locked eyes. He went over, asked her to dance, and that was it. And she said that after the dance finished, he gave her a little kiss on the top of the head. She said she felt that from the head to her toes, and that was a wrap.
The lightning struck.
That was it.
Was it.
Yeah.
The kiss on the forehead seals the deal, to tell you the truth.
Yes,
that's a gentlemanly like move.
It sure does.
They'd be like, this guy just suckers kissing her on the forehead. What's wrong with you? So you're in LES. At what point does your family decide, or is it you? Do you decide that you're gonna like move out of New York?
Well,
That makes sense.
my dad was drafted into Vietnam, so he left
Oh,
at 18 or 19. And after that, he was sent. He went to boot camp in Fort Bliss, I want to say Texas,
okay.
and from there, going through the process, they ended up sending him to Panama, and he came and got my mom. And this was 1973. I just turned 8 years old. I left on the plane. It was Pan American plane. I'll never forget. And we're walking on the tarmac. We're coming up this, up the escalator to get into and the stairs getting to get into the airplane. And it was the most immense experience of my life. I'll never forget. I could still smell the tarmac and the oil and the engine fuel from the plane. It was one of those big TWAs that had the double deckers, the old ones. It was one of those.
Whoa.
So
Everybody smoking on the planes back then.
Exactly. They used real utensils for
Yeah,
food,
yeah.
home cooked food. But anyway, so from there, we went to Panama. Then my dad and mom ended up getting a divorce, and my mom moved back to New York in '77, and then in '78 we moved to Connecticut. I went to high school here. This is where I met my ex-husband in school. We ended up getting married. He joined the military, and we traveled for the first, I would say, 25 years of our married life. We traveled, and then we came back to Connecticut in 1994.
Time out.
And
I got to jump in.
sure.
You moved to Connecticut. The kiss
Mhm.
on the forehead didn't last too long. I assume, things
Yeah,
change in
yeah,
people's lives, especially experiencing war.
yeah.
People change, and that affects families and whatnot. Mommy moves you guys to Connecticut, right? So it's
Correct.
you. How many siblings were there when you moved to Connecticut?
We have four. I have four. I have myself. I'm the oldest. I have two
Okay.
brothers. One brother passed away in '99,
Oh,
and
so
then thank you. And then my sister's the youngest. So there's four of us. It's two boys and two girls.
you're like 15, 16 at the time?
I was 13,
You were 13.
13 when I
And,
moved
and
to Connecticut.
you moved to Connecticut. At what age do you meet your ex-husband?
At 14.
At 14.
At 14, we were high school sweethearts.
Wow. You were a freshman.
I was a freshman.
Mira, esta tipa está mala.
I was a
Está mala.
freshman.
How
It's
old was
funny.
he? How old was he?
We're the same age. It's so funny.
Okay.
How we met was I had to tutor him in English so
Uh-huh.
he could bring up his grades so he could play baseball.
Okay.
And when my English teacher, Mrs. James, shout out to Mrs. James, I said, no way. I was like, nope,
Why
not
not?
doing it. Oh, he was arrogant. I didn't like his vibe. And I was like, nah, that's okay. And plus, I was in gymnastics also too. So I was like, how am I going to do this between
Yeah, bro.
gymnastics and trying to help this kid? And I was like, nah, nah, nah. So it ended up, she was like, please do this for me as a favor. He's a smart kid. He's a good kid, blah, blah, blah. And then I gave in and we started, I started helping him. And that's how we got to know each other. But we didn't start actually dating till our sophomore year.
Mm.
Our sophomore
So,
year.
so at what point in your relationship with it, I don't want to,
No, that's okay.
too much. When do you start to realize, because you said he became your ex, when did you start to realize like, oh, you know what, this is serious and I really want to be with this man?
Well,
Was it a decision, or were things changing between you guys and, all right, this is where we're at in our relationship. Let's make the next move.
you're talking about us getting together, or
Yeah, like you guys are together, you start dating because you realize, oh, he's really not that bad. He's not really, that vibe is just all in my head, and I really like him, right?
well, in my senior year, so we date all 3 years of our
From
high
sophomore.
school years.
Okay.
Every summer I went away to Puerto Rico. So I went to visit my family. I stayed with my aunt. I usually went with my grandmother and spent the whole summer there. And I would come back literally a day or two before school started. So our senior year was, I had started modeling in my senior year. And I also was I had got signed up to an agency in New York. And my mother saw how we were so entangled with each other that she was like, I'm not going to
The
send her.
old entanglement.
Yeah,
Yes.
the old
The
entanglement
old
over here.
So my mom, trying to do the right thing, kind of sent. I had to give up the modeling career. I had to, forego that, and I went to PR. And when I actually found out the real reason why she sent me there, I was so angry that I came back home.
Which was
And yeah, I came back to Connecticut, and I was so upset. And
she was. I'm sorry.
mhm.
Your mom was trying to interfere and interrupt.
She was
the
trying to break us
relationship.
up. Yeah, she was trying to break up because we were always up each other's.
Yo
And
no
you
quiero
saw one.
nieto aquí temprano.
Too late for that.
Exactly. That's what she was trying to avoid. And in my anger and haste, we had the hookup, and I became pregnant in my senior year.
So okay, we're gonna make a PSA real quick before we move forward.
All right.
Everybody who's a parent that's in the room right now, if you haven't learned yet, take a lesson from what she just said.
Yes.
The more that you push your child to do something that you don't want them doing, the more they're gonna want to do, especially a strong-minded, strong-willed young woman.
Child. If your child, definitely. If your child is
young
strong,
woman, yeah, you were a young lady at the time. You were a junior, senior. You can't. They're coming into their own. You can't push them in the other direction. You got to let them learn to it. You just got to stay in their ear. Anyway, I don't want to be at that tonight.
No, that's true. That's true.
So I guess it's around spring break. You like?
Oh yeah, more than spring break. I ended up getting pregnant. I found out in October of 1981 that I was pregnant.
Okay.
So we knew that we were going to college. He had gotten accepted to Springfield College on a scholarship, wrestling scholarship, and I had gotten accepted to Wesleyan here in Middletown, Connecticut, and I also got accepted to Central Connecticut State College. So we knew we were going to go to college, and having a baby was not going to be a deterrent. But instead, he upped one and decided to join the Navy, and didn't say anything, and came home and said, "Okay, I joined the Navy." I was like, "Whoa, whoa, what's going on? We didn't have a discussion. This is." He goes, "Well, we need a job. We need a good job. We have a baby coming." And he goes, "I don't want to just be boyfriend and girlfriend. Let's get married." So we ended up getting married. We put a wedding together in a month. We ended up getting married in December of 81. And AJ, who you had on your show not too long ago,
Salute.
he was born in April of 82. And that was, the rest was history. He joined the military, joined the Navy. I gave up my college. Yeah, I gave up my college dreams at that moment. Not that I was going to give it up forever, but I put family first. And I decided that traveling was the right thing to do, and going with him and following him. And that's what I did. So as we traveled, I took classes. Every base we went to, I went to school and took a couple of courses and classes till I kind of accumulated what I wanted to do. And then our last duty station which was Pensacola, Florida. I actually met Nancy in Virginia Beach through a friend.
Nobody's gonna know.
Yes, I know. So I met a good friend,
right,
in Virginia Beach, who introduced me to my girlfriend today. They're both friends, my best friends, Nancy Alfinas. And that's when we went to Pensacola, Florida. And in Pensacola, Florida, she and I became like comais, if you want to term it that. And I ended up staying there in Pensacola, and I became a deputy sheriff in Pensacola.
Wait a minute, time out. Let's stop. If you're just joining the show, I'm your host, Mr. A, with my compadre,
Sally Sasson.
And this is the set. And tonight we're talking to Miss Lourdes Mondesi Santiago. She's taken us through the journey of the beginning, early stages of her life, and how she came to, went to high school, met her first husband. He joined the Navy to take her away because he was not hearing her being a model. This is just my assumption. And he was like, later for that, I got her pregnant. Now I need to get out of here. They went to Japan, right?
I think that, yeah.
I know what I'm saying. Listen, I know the crazy. Trust me.
Seen this movie before.
Yeah, for real. This is old. This is a rerun. but in all the changes that went on, Lourdes made it a point to stick her ass in school and remain focused about herself.
Right.
Wow. being somebody's wife and raising one child at the time, or two?
One child at a time.
Raising a son at that time, but she made sure that she stayed true to herself and she took classes. Boom. Now we're back in Pensacola. She makes a good friend, Miss Nancy Rios.
Rios.
At the time she was Alfinas, now she's Rios. We don't want to mess that up. And another girlfriend, and they're still tight to these days. But in the interim of her coming to Pensacola and getting this education, she applied herself and she became a sheriff.
Deputy sheriff in Pensacola, Florida.
So this woman, who I can say is pretty tall, because again, she was going to be a model, coming out the whip with the big brimmed hat and all them guns and stuff on her hip, was pulling people over in Pensacola, and that's not really a friendly place to be when you got New York plates. So you enter law enforcement in Pensacola, and I'm under the impression that at some point you make your way back to Connecticut, right?
I did. In 94, I went back to Connecticut. My ex-husband, at that time, he got out of the Navy, and he went to Connecticut. His sister was a correctional officer, and said, if you come down, take the test. I have people that work here, and they can assure you a position in the next class. So he did, and he wanted me to come up, and I said no. I said, I'm not I was already with the department 4 years. I said, I'm not going to start over. I'm settled here. I like it here. The kids, and by this time I already had Julian, because, Julian was born, our second son was born in 87. So he was raised in Pensacola, and I didn't want to disrupt their routine, just to go back. And I didn't want to go back to the cold either. I was like, nah, I'm okay. You go. So one time he calls me and tells me that the Hartford Police Department was hiring. Come down. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I'll come down, I'll take the test. If I pass the test, the polygraph, everything, and I'm a shoo-in, like signed on the dotted line, then only then will I think about it. So I did that for about 5-6 months. I flew to Connecticut, took the test, took the polygraph, did everything. And then finally I did receive the letter saying that I was accepted, if I still wanted the acceptance to come in as a cadet. And that I would start in 95, and that's exactly what happened. So I moved everything from Florida and moved to Connecticut and became a Hartford police officer in May of 96.
Does your time carry over, or do you start as a rookie?
I'm a rookie. I lost my seniority. I lost everything. I had to go through another police academy. So the first one in Florida was 7 months, and the one in Connecticut is 6 months. And then each department has their own in-house training, which is what they call field training with an officer. In Florida, it's 4 months, and in Connecticut, it's 3 months. So I had to do everything all over again.
Sorry.
Did you have to unlearn? Like, you have to unlearn some things you learned in Florida?
No, not really.
The same, pretty much transition.
It's the same transition. The only thing I had to relearn was the laws, Connecticut versus Florida, and the terminologies. That's it.
I think that I don't know. So I don't know if you picking up on this. I kind of get the feeling that Miss Santiago doesn't.
Is it into handcuffs? Oh no, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna leave that for later, but you said it first.
Another show.
That's a whole other show. We got to come back on the ladies edition that we're gonna do later.
After dark on the set.
So I sort of get the feeling that Miss Santiago, she's not the faint of heart type, right? She doesn't seem like the type of person to me, like if you're in the club and you spill a drink on her and you try to act like it's nothing, like she's gonna act like it's nothing. I kind of get that vibe from her. So I think that, being in law enforcement, one, and two, now, the point of the subject matter is the motorcycle club. I kind of get the feeling like you have experience with your hands. Am I wrong?
No, I'm pretty easygoing,
No, not Lourdes when we hang. I'm talking about like.
Oh, as an officer? Oh, yeah.
As an officer or in confrontation in general.
Growing up in New York, you had to use your hands. your feet, your mouth, whatever, a brick, a stick,
Oh,
whatever. So you're talking about the early 70s for me,
mm,
So mid 70s, 75, 76, 77. Those are some rough times. And at the time, there it was a big transition. I had a lot of friends that the school that I went to, I had a lot of friends that lived in the Bronx. And at one point we ended up moving to the Bronx. So for about a year or two. So
in the 70s.
yeah. So it was a big difference from Manhattan to the Bronx,
Yeah. Huge. The Sharks and the
and
Jets were out during that time, right?
exactly. So,
Wow.
we had to pick sides, and it was pretty different. It was different. So I was not, and I had my brother as my backup. My brother was he was like a little mini boxer. And he says, "Don't worry, I got your back," and that's how we actually, went to school. We had each other's back. And if I could avoid a fight, I would, but if I had to, I
Shy
didn't say
away.
much before
Right.
the throat got whacked, but
I hear that.
Was there any sorry, stay.
Okay.
Was there any as a female in law enforcement, like was it tougher? Like do you feel you had to go extra? Was there hazing? Like did the guys haze you on the job? Because I've heard stories about things like
Okay, it's so funny you say that. So my career in Florida was between 89 and 94. I was one of 6 females that graduated from the academy class,
Damn.
and 4 of us were actually hired at the sheriff's department. And my badge number was 329. There was one more guy hired after me, so he was 330. There was 330 sworn deputy sheriffs, and about, I would say, maybe 50 or 60 of us were on the road. The hazing wise, I got I got a little bit of each. Pensacola was different in the 90s. It was you were either Caucasian, and if you
good
were
old boys.
Good
or
old.
if you were Hispanic, you were Mexican.
Yep.
They didn't even know where Puerto Rico was
I
in the
remember that.
90s,
Yep.
and or you were black, African American. So times are different back then. As far as a female, I had to prove myself. I had to prove myself on the line, which I think I did. And same thing with Connecticut. So you jump back up to 95, 96. The guys, for the most part, because it's being a bigger city, urban city,
Mhm.
it's a little bit easier, but you still got the old ones, the OGs, who
Yeah.
test you as soon as you walk in. I remember, and this is no lie, myself and another female officer, we were brand new, we were newbies, and we were on the midnight shift. And this guy, and I cannot remember his name. I could see his face, but I can't remember his name. But his uniform was all raggedy. He wore his belt, his gun belt, like he was a cowboy. He wore cowboy boots. And he says to the sergeant, he goes, "All I know is I better not have any of these slits in my car." And I said, "Oh no, he did not just say that.
Yes, he did.
He just said," and we kind of looked at each other and we didn't say anything. So after we finished roll call, I walked up to him. I said, "I don't want to be in your car either." I said, "You smell. You need to take a shower." So just
Dirty mother.
little things like that. So, but even then, you had to prove yourself, and
Culo
for the
cagao.
for the most part,
Vaqueros.
it was tough. And if we have another podcast on female officers, I can tell you a lot of stories.
We'll mark it on the calendar.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go.
So
So
I can't imagine what it's like, because the you have to understand the time frame that you're working within. The South in the 90s, in the early 90s, as you said, those people still weren't caught up, so to speak, right? So you were either white, black, or you were Mexican, because they did not understand what Puerto Ricans were. Even if you told them, "Listen, I don't meet the height requirements to be Mexican," it would just, they didn't get out. right?
No,
Now going up,
they couldn't even pronounce my
yeah, they
name.
couldn't. And then going to Connecticut, where was it? It was Hartford, right?
Yes, Hartford.
Pero Hartford está cagado con puertorriqueño, no?
Yes.
Exactly. So they've been up there for a while. So, the only thing that
Big
you
difference.
have, yeah, the only thing that you have there is this, that's sort of the same as that undertone of, you know, sexism, of course, that's
Yeah.
everywhere. But then on top of that, yeah, you're a Latina. So
Right.
it doesn't help double-edged sword, right?
Right.
So now did you get to retire from the Hartford PD or?
Actually, I retired through a medical disability. I was
Okay.
in a car accident I was on duty, and I got hit by a guy coming too fast in a snowstorm. It was actually an ice storm, and I broke my back and my hip. So
Whoa, what? You broke
yeah,
your what?
my back, my lower, I fractured my L4, my L5, and part of the upper part of the tailbone
Oof.
and my hip. My I was getting out of the cruiser. A quick story: getting out of the cruiser to help another officer. There was another accident, and the guy, I was going to step out to put some flares out to slow people down because the accident was in front of us. And when I looked up in the rearview mirror, I see the lights coming and the car's coming fast, and I said, "Oh no, this guy's not going to be able to stop."
Brace for it.
So I just kind of held on to the steering column, and I already had my seatbelt off. So when he hit me, I pushed forward and I hit my knees under the dashboard and pushed my hips, my legs back, and my body went forward. So I dislocated and ripped the labium
Pelvis.
in the labium in your hip, in the hip, in the joint socket. So I had that, and my L4. I had fractured my L4 and my L5. So my disc bulged, and my spinal cord was hitting the bulge was hitting actually the spinal cord. So I couldn't walk. I had no feeling in my legs. It took me to the hospital. I ended up having back surgery, and about a year later, it still wasn't adhering right, and I needed another second back surgery. And that's when they put two rods and some screws to hold. What they did was they took out the disc and they put in a metal cage so that I could have flexibility in my lower spine. So
It's working for you.
it's working. It
No,
was a long.
I said no twerking for you.
Oh
No
no,
twerking.
no twerking. I couldn't twerk anyways. I may be Latina, but I think I got
You got the
that
blunky,
other.
a little blunky in you.
Got the
Yeah,
Karen, a little
un
Karen in
poquito.
you.
A little
Yes,
Karen.
yes. Your father used to try to teach me salsa, so imagínate, and I still can't do the turns.
La vueltas kill everybody. For real.
Oh no, but this is like I have two left feet,
Oh
two
my
left
God.
feet. So it was tragic. But yeah, so I had surgery. So I ended up actually retiring in 2003 with a full medical disability, and I've been retired from the police force since 2003.
I don't know if anybody else notices. I'm the only one that's wincing in the room. Sally, I don't really believe through our whole lifetime of friendship has broken any bone. I've broken many. And
I had back surgery too. So
oh,
I
you
know.
do?
Yeah, I had
Yeah,
back surgery, shoulder surgery, neck surgery.
yeah, me
Whatever.
too.
I broke mad bones when
Uh,
so I'm hearing this story and it's killing me right now because I could just that pain. Oh Jesus. All
Oh
right.
yeah. And that don't go away ever. So
No, especially when it gets cold or the rain's coming. Like, yeah, it's gonna rain. How you know? I'm in pain right now.
mhm.
I can feel it going up my bones right now.
Yes,
So
definitely.
you get out on a medical. How long is it before you start to be more functional and more out and walking and doing all that stuff? Is it a long time? Is it a short time? And on top of that, part two, when do you decide, oh, I'm getting on a motorcycle after all of that?
That same year, 2003.
And they let you keep the medical? They're like, you fine to ride a motorcycle.
Well, I try to stay at work, but they
Oh.
don't have they are very selective. They said I was more of a liability than I was, So I was still working patrol. I worked midnights my whole entire shift, my whole entire career. So they were the persons who are in the upper echelons. If you're a liability, they don't want you.
Mm. So
So
that goes for a lot of companies.
that goes for almost every company.
right.
So
Right.
you start riding motorcycle. I really want to. Go ahead, so.
Go ahead. No, go.
I really want to get to the point of right now that we're here. You went through this accident. You retire. You retire on full medical, right?
Mm-hmm.
You decide in that same year you're going to start riding motorcycle.
So my last back operation was 2001. I had from 2001 to 2003 to really heal. During that time, I was, going to the gym, working out, working on my back, therapy, the whole 9 yards. I passed, workman's comps that cleared me. Yes. Then I finally put in the paperwork for the disability, the medical disability. And my thought process was, I'm still young enough to do something else. And I have all my body parts. I'm not crippled. You know what? Maybe this is a sign that this is not what you should be doing. Do something else. So I had taken forensics, and that's where I earned my associate's degree, was in criminal justice, and I wanted to go into forensics while I was with the police department. So once the police career ended, I kind of, this is not really, I don't want to see blood anymore. I don't want to see people dying. I don't want to see this anymore. I want something happy. Yeah, I want to see something happy. I want to see positive things happening. So I was debating what I was going to do, whether I was going to go back to, I wanted to go to art school because I also draw and paint. And I said, you know what, I'll take the time now. And during that time in 2003, a friend of mine wanted to learn how to ride. And I said, a motorcycle? Really? She's like, yeah. She goes, yeah. But she was talking about a crotch rocket and the Hayabusas. And I'm talking about the Harleys laid back. Yeah. I was like, I don't know if I want to get on one of those Hayabusas. And she goes, oh, it's amazing. You can do it. You ride horses. You can do this. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. So we ended up taking the course. I took the course. It was a 3-day course. I passed it. And I went and got my first Harley. It was a Sportster 883. It was the most tiniest little bike ever.
883 is tiny?
It's tiny. 883 is tiny. It's the engine size.
You're saying that? No, mira, no me hables. Okay.
Yeah. It's little. It's little.
But so for a first bike at 883 is, that's serious.
Guys are doing what, 600 ninjas? What was
it? I'll tell you what. A Ninja's totally different from a cruiser.
Right, a cruiser and a Ninja is two different things.
Two different bikes, so two different animals. Right. But when you're in a cruiser, what you want is comfort, and what you want is engine size, because that's it's for longevity, not for here to there. It's for long distance riding. So I quickly, within 3 years, I was ready. After the first year, I was ready for a larger bike. What scared me was the size of the bike. Not so much the engine size, but the size. It looked bigger. It looked wider. Can I really handle this bike? Can I really hold it up? Plus my back. Yeah. I just, do I have the strength? I have the leg strength, but I didn't the upper body strength,
Did you start working out to get yourself prepped for the bike?
Well, no, not really. I always worked out and I always kept myself up, but riding a bike, it's so, it rides itself. You just have to be conscious of everything around you. Yeah. And so that's how it began. That's how I got my first bike. And my first bike, I rode to Lake George, New York, to Pennsylvania, Vermont. My first trip was, we're going to go for a small little trip. And it was like 3 hours later, and I hit a monsoon rain. I had no rain gear. I was basically a virgin to the riding life. I had no gloves. I didn't have a jacket. I mean, I just thought, let's just get on the bike and go.
Thinking you're cute.
Thinking you're looking cute. Exactly. The cute shirt, the clean, make sure everything matches. But you don't realize that when you're riding, everything is 10 degrees less. So if it's 50 or 60, your riding is probably about 45, 55. So you
That's
always have your jacket. Yeah, you always carry your jacket. You always carry gloves just in case, because the temperature changes so fast, especially here in New England.
oh, you're up north. Yeah,
Yeah,
super
yeah,
cold.
yeah.
So let's shift gears now. I
Hmm.
have a whole I have a whole bunch of other stuff, but we're gonna shift gears. Somehow, some way along the line, I know you become inspired to start your own club, and I know that that thought was being dashed or being hindered, right?
Correct.
But and people, if you understand and have been paying attention to Miss Santiago, she doesn't sound like the quitting type. She's been through so much, and she's not the type to get pushed over and saying, play the background. So you finally decide to make this club, right? Now, can you tell the audience where does the inspiration come from, and why it should be important for them to learn and know about?
The inspiration came from when I finally got my license. I ran into a girls' club here in Connecticut, in Hartford. Most of the girls were on Hayabusas. They were the type of club that they had, and I have to say this to everybody. There is a type of club for you. If you don't like this club, there's always another one that has what you need, your interest, whatever it is.
Mhm.
This one club was not the kind of club that I wanted. They were young girls, they were bar hoppers, they were on the Hayabusas with their, going with the G strings hanging out, the tight shirts, because the motorcycle life or motorcycle world has a persona,
Right.
and it's either leather or it's leather and lace or something like that, and the girls are a certain look. So
Not
as
falling cut off.
yeah, so
Mm.
as I am observing this and I'm looking at the clubs and I'm doing my own research, this is in about 2003. So
Mhm.
I said, you know what, let me do a club for me. I wanted to start a girls club that has my mindset. I'm a former police officer. I'm a pillar of the community. I have many friends who are part of the community. We give back to the community. I have friends who do fundraisers and things like that, which I was part of before even the BMC. And I had to have, I wanted a certain look and feel to the club. I didn't want this bar hopping, good old boy,
Your
let's
message and your
go.
branding had to be a specific way.
Exactly. And I
Okay.
wanted a
Okay.
specific look, and I wanted a specific mindset,
Right.
most of all, mindset. So I had a couple of girls that we were going to do this. So the next thing was what was the name of the club and why were we riding?
Mhm.
So I found out, I found about the Buffalo Soldiers. And the Buffalo Soldiers gave back to their community. They ride in honor of the cavalry. The cavalry,
Mhm.
and they give back to each chapter across the nation, across the world. They give back to their community, and that's what their mission is about. So I love that idea. I said, wow, this is amazing. So the chapter here in Hartford, Connecticut was started by my former co-worker and classmate of the Hartford Police Academy, Brian Moore.
Okay.
And I saw what he was doing. I saw what he was doing for the African American community. I thought that was a beautiful thing. And I say, wow, well, why can't we do this? Why can't we do this for the Hispanic community, for the Puerto Rican community? Plus, we have a street here in Hartford called Park Street that was prominently Puerto Rican bodega stores, community based. And then as the time has changed, it's changed a little bit somewhat now, but it was predominant, and it was Park Street, and it was about 3 to 4 miles long. And, this was like the hub, the center of Puerto Rico. Anything you want to find at Puerto Rico, you find it here on Park Street. So
Mm.
I said, what better way or what better thing to do than to give back to our people?
Mhm.
So I started doing research in 2003 and came across the name Borinqueneers. And at the time, the Borinqueneers were just, it was about the veterans. And at the same time, Naomi Figueroa Silhouette, who directed, wrote the play, the documentary for the 65th, the Borinqueneers. I actually met her. We met over the internet and we started dialoguing, and I got all this information from her. And I thought, wow, this is a woman director, a woman filmmaker from New York City doing the same thing. Like, you know, she's doing it on her own. People were telling her she couldn't do it. I was so inspired. I said, if she can do it, I can do it. So that's where it really started really growing, talking to her and then meeting all these other people. In 2004, in January 2004, I went to Puerto Rico for a funeral. In my ex-husband's grandmother's home. There were 2 plaques on the wall. And when I turned to look, I saw that they were the Borinquenes 65th de Puerto Rico, the 65th Infantry. And I said, what? The Borinqueneers? I said, wait a minute. And I started asking Abuela Luz, pero abuela, what's this about? Who are these people? You know, so she goes, oh, this is Sicton, Alexis's uncle. He was a POW. He was actually caught. He was let go. And I was so, because this man was a gentle giant. He ended up passing away, but he was a gentle giant. And this man was like 6'5", big, soft spoken. And I just would look at him like, and I didn't get to ask him all kinds of questions.
Right.
But I wish I would have, but it was just mind boggling to me. So then I saw the other plaque, and the other plaque was another uncle who was missing in action. He actually was killed and died over there, and they never recovered his body. So I said, this is it. This is the name, Borinqueneers. That was my omen.
Where was he captured?
Yeah,
in Korea. So it was I don't know where exactly in Korea, but he was captured there, and he was in a POW camp before he was recovered, I think, for like 2 or 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, where they really tortured. They pulled the nails and that kind of stuff. It was horrible. But that's how Borinqueneers cemented. So once I got the name, the next thing was to do research on motorcycle clubs.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me interrupt you real quick. If you're just joining the show, I'm your host, Mr. A, with my compadre here.
Charlie Sasson.
And this is the set. Tonight we're speaking to Miss Lourdes Mondesi Santiago. She just informed us or let us know where she got the inspiration for the Borinqueneers Motorcycle Club. And I just wanted to point out to everybody, this infantry fought in the Korean War. Okay, so if you don't know, now you know. They fought in the Korean War. She has just found out a little more information about them in this time of 2004. And now she's on the road to actually creating the motorcycle club. And she's just explaining that to us. And to my brother, Mr. Morales, I see you. Thank you for coming in the room. We see you. Thank you for the support. Abuelo 1, that's your new name, Abuelo 1. So, Lourdes, you go to the funeral, you see these plaques. It's sort of, as you said, cemented your inspiration for the name of the MC.
Correct.
Right? Now, when you decide to do this, are there any protocols? Because I hear, we always see, we see all these motorcycle shows, right? Like Sons and
it's all true.
Right. There's protocols that you have to follow to establish this club, right?
Oh yeah.
Now,
so
explain to us how that happens.
So you have 3 forms of clubs. You have a riding club, which is not an MC.
Okay.
You have a association club, which is not considered a motorcycle or MC, and then you have an MC. An MC, it's its own monster. So for you to become an MC, you must get permission in your state from the prominent 1%er of that state to allow you to rock or wear the MC and your colors, and you have to present the colors to them so they could see, and you basically let them know. Once a club is considered law enforcement or family oriented,
Uh-huh.
there's no issue as long as you don't cross the boundaries. And they tell you very, very, very well, don't cross the boundaries. We will never see each other. If you stick to what you say, if you stick to your mission of who you are,
Uh-huh.
we will never cross bound. We will never see each other. And that's exactly, and we're actually celebrating this year our 20th anniversary as an MC.
Who can I ask you who was the 1%er club that approved you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
Lourdes,
So,
go ahead.
yes.
Okay. Your ex-husband, he was into the biking also.
Yes.
Okay.
So what happened was when I really got into this in 2003 and in 2004, I said, I'm doing this with or without you. Because I asked him, how would you like to do this along with me? He was part of, he actually joined the Buffalo Soldiers through Brian. He was asked by Brian, he joined the club. He was riding with them for about 3 years. And when I first asked him, he says, no, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. This is a man's world. They don't listen. They don't talk to women. So I said, okay, no problem. They're going to listen to talk to me because I'm Lourdes. I'm going to make it happen one way or
I
another.
own a gun.
So,
Yeah,
I said,
you don't
one
want to
way
talk
or
to her,
another.
do you?
I said that I'll be in my mindset. In my mindset, whether I was naive or just didn't really understand.
Mhm.
I really thought that I could make it happen. So it never deterred me. It didn't deter me. So I continued my move forward. And then he decided to leave the Buffalo Soldiers and come on board. And he said, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. But we're going to do this. I said, no. We're going to do this. We're going to do it the correct way. And we're going to do it together. But you're not changing my plans. My plans are these. This is what I want to do. I want to ride in honor of the 65th. I want to give back to the community. I want to do fundraisers. This is what we're going to do. Give back to the community. We're at that time, we were at a certain level in our careers that we could give back and talk to those people because our story was no different than anyone else's, and we were not born with silver spoons in our mouths. And I wanted people to see that if I could do it, anybody could do it. And so he agreed to it and he came on board. So that's how we joined together.
I'm going to
And
go out on a limb here and say there was some abstinence in between there. And you sleeping on the couch. You know what? I think I'm going to join you, Ma. I
don't know. Yo, so not for nothing. Salute to your husband. Good man. People change, things happen. People get divorced all the time. But salute to him. Good dude. I kind of get the feeling that, from the way Lourdes' personality is coming across, and I said it earlier, she's just not the type to just take it. You know what I mean?
okay.
She's just not, she's not gonna let you tell her.
Can I
She's
put
gonna, all right.
this thing in here? I can't put it in there, right? Can you guys hear me? Because I'm
Yeah,
about to probably
we-
lose you guys.
What happened?
I got a low battery.
Bateria.
And
Ay, Dios mío.
I
What's
can't
your
hear
husband
you.
doing? He ain't doing nothing. Tell him to plug it in. Tú no puedes oír. You can't hear us?
There's feedback because I don't have the.
Hold. I'm gonna
I had
fix
to
it.
put the charger on, so
I'm gonna fix it. Hold on. People, how about now? Still feel feedback? Is there feedback?
She got the headphones off.
She got the.
I feel feedback.
okay now.
How about now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So, I have a question for you, Lourdes, from the
Yes.
room. Our brother James Morales said there's a chapter of the Borinqueneers in PA,
Yes.
and the president of the PA chapter is Bulldog.
He's not. We don't have presidents now. If this chapter is running the way he's supposed to be running, there is no chapter. There is no president. And the reason why we started the club with no president and no vice president is because we wanted a majority a majority vote, and all the membership had equal say. So to start a chapter, you need 5 members, and part of this 5 members are 3 council members. The 3 council members, you have a secretary and a treasurer. In a voting situation, you always have the ability to have the majority vote. If they, as the governing body, or the council, what we call the council, who we call it the council, if they cannot vote, or they do vote and they bring their suggestion, their vote to the membership, and they decide that that's not what they want for their chapter, they all vote, and they can overturn the council members and the board's vote to the majority vote of the membership. So Bulldog started with us in 2007.
Okay.
And when the chapter closed at one time, and he recently reopened the chapter in 2017. They reopened the chapter. They had closed the chapter, reopened the chapter, got rid of some people that weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. So now he is, if he wants to call himself a president.
No, I'm just a word play on a word.
Yeah,
might be using the wrong word.
He's a point person.
Yeah,
he's a contact. Every member of the Borinqueneers chapter should be a point of contact.
Right.
You're all taught the same thing. You're all taught the same bylaws. You're running through with the same bylaws. And speaking to me, what I say in Connecticut should be reverberated in Pennsylvania.
Down the line.
And it's in New York and in whatever state. It's one chapter, one mindset, one page.
Nice. Very nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So now what I was looking at the page and sort of seeing pictures and things that you guys were doing community wise. I know that you've done a bunch of rides. But there was one point that I came across a picture, and it seemed like you were doing a street naming in honor of a few of the veterans that were still with us. Am I correct?
Yes, they named it the Borinqueneers 65th, and there's one in Connecticut, here in Connecticut, and I also too I want to say there's a 65th Borinqueneers in Puerto Rico, but it wasn't done by our membership. Right. But yes, they do, and we were trying to do the same thing here in Hartford, Connecticut, on Park Street, and not so much for rename it, but have like an under a second name on it and call it the 65th, the 65th Infantry Avenue. But it never came to fruition. But we do have a beautiful monument here that I am very proud.
You guys put that together? You guys made that happen?
What happened was in 2009, I actually approached the state representative, Robert Sanchez. And we were working on it together. And there were certain people, he represents the district of New Britain, and they actually wanted it in New Britain. So he came to me, and we came to him, and he went on board, but he wanted to do it in New Britain because that's his constituents and his masters are. And I told him, kind of said no. I said I think we should start in Hartford, and then we could do something in New Britain. And if somebody in New Haven wants to do something, then we could do it there. But I think it should be in Hartford. Well, he kind of didn't like that, so he kind of put me on the back burner. And then I don't know, about 8 or 9 months later, they have a big old committee. We had a spot in Hartford in front of the Army that they were going to give us. All of a sudden, the spot wasn't available. It was state owned, with a bunch of red tape. So we kind of left it alone. And then a couple of years later, Robert continued with it. Now, by this time, the 65th have already earned their, Obama had given them their, what was it that they gave them?
The honorary, I forget.
Yes, the honorary commission, right.
Yeah, I know.
So by that time, so when all these people were jumping on the bandwagon, and the documentary have finished. So
Mhm.
Naomi now is traveling all over the United States presenting the documentary, and we're lucky to have three veterans here in Hartford who are like we call them our viejitos, who live here and still
Gotcha.
alive. One just passed away, but
Mm.
yeah, three of them are still alive. So her documentary is going full force. She's getting great reviews. She's being called upon. People are starting to find out about the 65th. They're hearing about the 65th. There's more more state reps. As we're growing, the name is going out. So now we're doing fundraisers. We have a chapter in Virginia. We have a chapter in New York. We have a chapter in Pennsylvania. There's one in Florida. There was 4 in Texas, one in Minnesota.
I think these are all law enforcement and retired military
Military.
people that are making their way into the ranks, right?
Exactly. So one friend hears about it, another friend hears about it.
Right.
There's a member who knows somebody who lives in a different state, and they're on board and they ride, and they all want to jump on board. They love the mission. They love what we are about family. I made sure as a woman, one of my biggest points in the club was, if you ride with us, please bring your significant other, please bring your husband, wife, have them meet us so they can see. Because when we say we're going on a ride, we're saying we're going on a ride, could be an hour, it could be 6 hours later. But we want you to feel comfortable that we're not going to bars, we're not going to titty bars, we're not going hopping around, we're not bringing the chijas and the chijos. This is not an excuse for you to take off for 5 or 6 hours and your wife or husband thinks that you're riding and you're somewhere else. This is not that kind of club. And that's one of the main important things, because as a female, and as a writer, I wrote a lot by myself without my ex. I had to make sure that he was comfortable with whom I was with. And I wanted to make sure that the significant others' wives, they were comfortable with me, because I was writing with their husbands, or their boyfriends, or, whatever, So I wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page and there was no hanky panky. And that was my motto.
No entanglements.
It's no entanglements. That was my motto then. That's my motto today. And because of that motto is what caused friction in the BMC, because certain people were doing just that. And
we don't want to say no names, Jose.
And that's when the bylaws were tested, that's when the integrity was tested. That's when you really got to know who was who and what. As a female, the good old boy system, it's in full force. It's in full force.
Lourdes, I got a 2-part question.
Sure.
Okay. If, let's say, a young lady watching this and she gets inspired to start her own club, what advice would you give her? And 2, what myth, let's say, what myth would you like to debunk about MCs and motorcycle clubs, stuff like this?
They're real people.
One of them. No cheating.
The MCs are real people, whether you are on the opposite side or you're on whatever side. They are true. They're true to their club. They do give back to their community. Now, what they do on the outside of that, that's them individually. But as a motorcycle club, there is such a brotherhood. It's such a deep brotherhood that it truly is an amazing thing. I have made friends from here to across. I mean, it was a beautiful thing where I can travel to any state and knew that if my bike broke down or something happened, I can call on one of my brothers or sisters and know that they were there. And that's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. It's like having a huge, huge ass family that you can count on, and they were there for you. And then as for a female, if you're wanting to do something like this, my suggestion to you is to really, really investigate, do your homework, have a mentor, someone who's in the motorcycle world that can mentor you, that can give you the right advice. And never give up. Don't give up on your dream, because if I could do it, and the life of a MC or an association or a riding club is normally 10 years.
Mm.
And we're in our 20th year. Even with all the brouhaha that we've gone through, we're 20 years and we're 20 years strong. And every chapter has, for the most part, adhered to its mission, and that is to ride in honor of the 65th, to make sure that they find the 65th veteran in their state, and come forward and make sure that they don't need anything. If they need something, that you're there for them, and to make them an honorary member, which is what we have in our bylaws. We make them an honorary members. We actually give them their own colors, and instead of having MCT, we put RCT.
RCT.
So yeah, we
What
put
does RCT
RCT,
mean?
which is the 65th
Regiment Combat.
the regimental combat team. So instead of MC, it's RCT. And that's how it denotes the difference when you see the colors on their back, because they get the full set of colors, and it's a beautiful thing. And they're so honored. And we've had some veterans that have passed away, and they've passed away with their colors on in their, they went.
Their procession?
Yeah, they went. No, they actually wore their colors when they were buried.
Really?
You know? Yeah. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm very proud of what this has become. It became bigger than what I ever thought. I ever thought in 100 years. I did not think. I thought, we get a club, we ride together, we do things here in Hartford. Little did I know that there were people who wanted to do the same thing other places, and they had a club that had already started, that already had the approval, that already had the bylaws in place, and all they had to do was follow, the model. That's it.
What would be something, because we're in COVID and everything's just a mess right now. What would be something, a cause or a ride to raise money or awareness to, that you guys would hopefully like to do in the very, very near future?
Honestly, nothing has stopped for the motorcycle world.
Really?
Yeah, even COVID. For us as a BMC, we adhere to the, but we still get together. We still ride. We still, we wear our masks, and we do the social distancing as much as we can. We have tried to, in our own personal lives, stayed away from places so that we're not susceptible to COVID as much, but for the most part, we're still doing the best that we can. And there are all types of fundraisers that, for example, Christmas, we have we start in October collecting toys. Nice. In December, we have a big party, and we invite the community to come. We give away toys to the kids that do show up. We give away toys to the Hispanic Council organization in Hartford, Connecticut, and we collect toys and every year, and it's something beautiful. So there's Thanksgiving, there's we collect socks and toiletries for the veterans at the Rocky Hill Veterans Hospital. These guys are coming in. They have no families. People could do this on themselves. You don't have to even be part of a motorcycle club, but you can do this on for yourself, veterans. These veterans have no families. They're usually transient veterans who come from different places, and they end up in the veterans home, and they have no toiletries, no sweaters, socks. So we get all these things for them, and we try to go and visit them at least once or twice a month, just to make them feel good and thank them for their service. Again,
right? Make them feel part of the community.
Oh yeah, feel part of the community, and thank them for their service. And all they want to do is talk. They want to talk. They want to talk about their life in the military, what they did. And you would be surprised in some of these people that they're just it's just incredible.
Well, people, if you just joined the show, too bad for you. I'm your host, Mr. A, with my compadre Celi Sazon in the room. We just spoke to Miss Lourdes Mondesi Santiago. and she gave us the true unmitigated backstory to the development of the Borinqueneers Motorcycle Club out of Hartford, correct?
Correct.
Out of Hartford, Connecticut. Um, there's so much that can be said about Miss Santiago. I think everybody picked up that she is not one to be told what to do. First and foremost, when she has her mind made up, she's going to see it through. Another thing is, you know, I'm sure everybody in the room, Sally, you included, can say like the woman has got guts to actually come forth and put together an MC, as I said, in a male dominated sort of arena, and never shy away from making it happen despite obstacles and pushback. You know, is super commendable, and I respect you immensely for that.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And I hope that, you know, I was getting a lot of messages, Lourdes, about your appearance. And, you know, because I don't know if Sally was getting the heat, but I definitely was getting the heat.
What?
No, I don't
What's
see
going on?
Sally, what'd you say?
No, I don't see the.
No. Prior to the show, I was getting messages about our content because, you know, next month we're having a women's empowerment segment, but prior to this, you know, I guess the ladies didn't feel like we were paying attention to them in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I agree with them.
Oh, okay. So I was definitely getting a lot of heat about not, you know, profiling women specifically. And please tell my audience I've been chasing you for a while to come on the show.
Yes, I have to say it was my doing. It's just, you know, you
Schedule.
do it and then you time, you know, time
Yeah.
before you know it, it's that day, like today.
Yeah.
Look, I was ready a couple of hours ago. All of a sudden, nothing is working.
Nothing.
I have a tablet, a freaking TV, smart TV. Nothing is working. Nothing. And I'm on this little tiny iPhone.
but all in all, Lourdes kept to her commitment. Yes. She, you know, I chase, and Sally will be the first one to be telling me, yo, one call, that's it. But
yeah.
If
they act funny, I mean, there's people like, you know, Lourdes' situation is different. She has things, you know, whatever, like there's communication.
Right.
But if people are giving us the run around, like, you know, all right, whatever, we'll move. You know, we're moving on. You know.
Listen, we're the same thing with our club. We don't chase you. We don't recruit. We allow you to come because you have to know that this is for you. Because we're not changing for you. We're not changing our bylaws. We're not changing who we are. Our preset of our mission for one person. And we've had people from other organizations like Llama. And they all want to change. They want to do it bigger, better. You know, oh, we can do this. And we're like, yeah, no.
Stay true to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Stay true to thyself.
Stay true to your roots. And
that's it.
And you can see I don't even know how anybody even feels like they can come in Lourdes' vicinity and think that things are going to change. I mean, it is what it is, right? I know they find out quickly, right?
I did this as a spoof for Halloween, Lourdes, a couple years ago. So I'm gonna throw this on.
What was that?
I'm gonna throw this on just to close it up.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
It's the Sons of Anarchy, Brooklyn.
Okay, well, let me show you something else. Okay?
We got
hold on.
Sazon.
Yeah. They're gonna show you the colors, brother.
All right. So
let's see the
This is Sazon as a prospect here.
As a prospect, can you? There you go.
Yo.
It's dark in here, right?
No, we could. I mean, it's a little dark, but we could see it.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's dope.
Those are the colors, and this right here is my pride and joy. Right here, this center patch.
You made that?
This center patch, yes.
That's the morro.
That's the morro. And so the concept being is when you're writing, what is it that you see on a person when you're writing? The back, right?
Yeah.
So when I was thinking, I already had the name. I was trying to configure a design. What center patch? What was I going to do? So I actually had two patches. I had one. What was the red one? The company. This one.
The reserve.
The consultant.
I'm going to show you.
What was that?
So there's two patches that I was actually looking at online. This one. There was this one. So the morro, right?
We always tied to that.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
just, yeah.
So the Maltese cross, which is this patch here.
Right.
So
Army National Guard, Army Reserve.
So this is the Army National Guard, and this is the Army Reserve. So I'm looking at both of those things online, and I did a printout of both things, and I'm at the kitchen table, I'm at my dining room table, and I'm looking at it, and I said, wait a minute, if I put the
morro
encima of the cross, everybody's gonna know it's from Puerto Rico. You don't really need anything else because that's it. Yeah, that's it. And that's how I came up with the center patch. And then the MC, the 65th, we didn't want to be we wanted our patches to be different because we didn't want people thinking that we were part of the the criminal organizations and stuff nation. Like that. So we wanted to separate. So we did the 6 patches. So we have the 65th, which honors their service, the 65th, and then honor et fidelitas is their motto cry. Okay, and it's honor and fidelity, and then of course the bottom rocker is the state where the member
where the club from. Is at, and
we don't claim territory. We just what we state is this is where we're from. We're right. From. This is the chapter from Connecticut. So right. The mother chapter usually gets the state rocker, and then right. If any other chapters come on board in a different part of the same state, then they use their city. So if we had one in New Haven, it would be New Haven, the New Haven chapter. We had and we would put on the bottom New Haven instead of Connecticut. So the mother chapter is always the first state, the first chapter that opens up, and then the other ones follow underneath.
Wow. Yeah. Bike etiquette. Listen, I love that patch, right? Sally, were you 2XL? I don't know.
We have.
No, I want a hoodie. We can't get vests, but I want to get a hoodie. You just got to point me in the right direction.
Listen, I'm glad you said that.
Honorary.
I am in the works of coming on board with the online BMC store.
Okay.
So we will carry merchandise for the general public.
Okay.
And I will have things on there. For example, we have this challenge coin. We have several challenge coins, but this is the challenge coin. This is the Iron Butt challenge coin. Mm. So if you ride 1,000 miles under 24 hours, you earn your Iron Butt patch, which is this one here. Oh. So I've done it twice. Wow. And so I'll have this on the store.
Okay.
I'll be able to have some t-shirts on the store, some things. Here was a sweatshirt. This is the sweatshirt that we use.
BMC.
And then on the back, mine is old, so this is vinyl. So the actual Maltese cross fell off. Because the vinyl, from washing it and everything. Yeah. So I have, but we're gonna do screen printing, so we went through trials and errors of different. This was the first design I did in 2005, and this was the first center. This is the patch that we used.
Look, I've been yendo por Home Shopping Network ahora mismo.
That's right. Y tenemos gorras. Hats.
Okay.
So,
nice.
In black and in pink.
Oh, I can't do
that. I have a jewelry line too.
Really?
We have a ring, a men's ring and a lady's ring. It's pure silver, heavy, not hollowed out. I have my designer is from New York, Mr. Antoli. He has a shop in Church Street? I think it's on Church Street.
Lower Manhattan.
Down Lower Manhattan, right? So he's my jeweler, and we have a pendant. So I'll have all that on the store for the general public, and we're hoping with the monies raised that we can give back to more veterans to more people. And now with this whole, people in Puerto Rico are still suffering from
Of course.
Hurricane Maria.
Okay.
Javier Morales, he is the person in charge. I love this man. He has done such remarkable work for the veterans in Puerto Rico. He's on Facebook. If anybody wants to do a fundraiser and raise money and send it to them, because he gives back 100% of the donations to these veterans. And that's what I hope to do, is with the monies earned, that some of this money, will donate
We'll go back
and
to
do
them.
something for them and their families. So
Okay.
My grandfather was a merchant marine in Puerto Rico. What is that? Does you guys have any ties to the merchant marines?
no, Merchant Marines is a Merchant
That's a
Marines.
commercial.
Okay, I'm being told yes. Hold on a second. What's that?
Merchant Marines are now considered like veterans.
Oh,
Yes,
They're now considered veterans.
Yeah, he's buried in
their
Campbelltown.
service. Yes. I didn't know
Okay.
that. See, I have a original Borinqueneer here who served with Company C de Cuamo. So
salute.
yeah, that's
Salute.
my Let me introduce you to my
Hello,
hubby.
guys.
How you doing, bud?
That's
Nice to meet you
Diego.
guys.
How you
Joe.
doing, Joe?
Yeah.
Thanks for the information.
Yeah,
Yes.
salute to you, brother.
He's giving me all the 411. So
Lourdes is like a ventriloquist.
Yeah.
I am. I'm doing well.
Lourdes, what
Yes.
I want you to do is at some point, like in the next day or two, if you could, you and Joe, put an email together or DM,
Mhm.
and please forward all, merchandising, fundraising, whatever it is that you guys are involved in, so that we can post on our site and share it with our audience. Because I even have people asking, "Oh, how can I get mine? I'm from CT. I'm from Connecticut." This girl right here, Jennifer Rosario, says, "Yes, girl. How can I get mine from CT?" So what I want to do is I want you to share the information with myself and Sally. We can put it on our IG, our Twitter, our Facebook, and share it with our audience, so that if anybody wants to donate, if they want to purchase, whatever they can, they know where to find it.
That's wonderful. We have a FB page,
Okay.
the Connecticut FB page. So they can always go on there and send us a DM, and
Send it to my
myself
DM.
or another moderator will answer the
question
email,
or
the question or the email. Yes, and we'll get back to them. So that's no problem.
DM me the page, because we'll say they have you'll say you have a page and they'll never find it.
Okay, no problem.
And we'll want to link your information on our page to share with our audience as well.
Sure, no problem.
So, Miss Lourdes Mondesi Santiago, I can't thank you enough for finally giving us your time.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate this, and I hope that everybody in some way, shape, or form has learned about the club, has learned a little bit about the history, has learned about you as a person.
Thank you.
At the most, because I think that was very informative, to say the least. And just know that you're now a part of our family.
Thank you.
Of course,
Woo-hoo.
anytime in the near future, you and the club are doing anything, and I don't care, you're doing a ride here, a fundraiser, something's going on, and you need to promote it. You reach out on the DM, and we will have you on the show, even if it's for 5 minutes, for you to tell everybody what's going on, or to talk. We'll bring you on. Ija.
Okay.
All right.
I'm having a virtual Super Bowl party.
Yes.
February 7th. Or
yes.
Prior guests welcome.
Yes.
All right.
So we're gonna tuck you in the queue. We're gonna close out the show. I want to have a few more words with you before you go, but I really, really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you kindly from the bottom of my heart, truly and truly. It's been a long time coming, and this is a wonderful cause, and motorcycling is my avid love. I absolutely love it. And even if I wasn't part of a club, I still love riding, and it's amazing. It really is. And I thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, yes.
Stay in the green room, please. Yo, so I know you gotta go catch a game, brother.
Ooh. So Oh, pack. I hope it's
Yes.
good news when I go check it.
Yes, we both hope it's good news because I still support the G no matter what. They still a team. I respect them. They do their thing, but I don't want to hold you, as they say. I just before we go, let me just say this. I'm getting old, man. My eyes are getting really, really bad.
That ginkgo biloba, whatever that shit is.
I need something, brother. Pause.
Adderall.
Listen, this thing doesn't even want to pop up. When I'm you know what, I'm pulling up our calendar, and it doesn't want to open now.
We'll just talk about it then. We got Wednesday, December 30th. We got Nelson Figueroa.
Woo! People, Nelson Figueroa will be here Wednesday the 30th.
We've getting a lot of calls for different dates, so we might have to start moving people around. And we made it a move already. January 2nd, we got Robert Phelps,
Providence,
played from Brooklyn, played for Nazareth High School. Went to Providence, won the Big East tournament. I mean, beat Ray Allen, beat Georgetown. I mean, Danya Marshall, that Connecticut team. I mean, they just, he got some great stories.
Yes.
And playing overseas, I think for like 10, 13 years, whatever he did there. And then Sunday, we got the 4-time champion, Zab Super Judah.
The Brooklyn legend from our part of town, from Brooklyn, New York City, is coming to bless the set. He's coming through, and everybody better watch.
Yes.
What we're going to do is bring something that you've never seen before with our brother Zab Judah. And I hope everybody comes out that night and shows support and shows love. It's going to be an amazing show. Crazy. But yeah. All right, people. So, as I said, I want to hold you.
Good.
Happy birthday, my brother.
Thank you.
Many more to come and big things, right?
Yes, sir. See you on Wednesday, guys.
We'll see you on Wednesday.